one of the most dapper 49er fans ever.
What
Crypto
up, Sunil?
Ryan, thank you so much for joining us today, man.
What up?
Unfortunately, on somber notes, talk to me, man. What are you feeling right now?
Well, to answer your question, if Kyle keeps coaching like this, yes, he shouldn't be our coach next year. When your field goal kicker is hurt with a groin injury and it's third and 15 in field goal range and you throw a screen pass, I mean, hello, try and get there. Try and actually get there so you can get the touchdown. Let the guy warm up with PATs. You know what I mean? If you really need at the end of the game to bring him in for a real field goal, then do it. But you've warmed him up for the whole time.
And Ryan, when you make a move like that, you're definitely going for it on fourth down. Like in my mind, that's just to make it more manageable on fourth down to go for it. But then you kick the field goal. I'm like, wow, that makes absolutely no sense, right?
Yeah, what are you doing? You're just giving them the ball at a shorter range, essentially. You know, if you
Yeah.
try and push that, you might get a couple more yards, and that just backs them up even more. I mean, there was a couple times he went short on third down and long, and I'm like, what are you doing? Go for the freaking first down. I mean, Jimmy's play was, it wasn't, terrible. I'm not going to say it was terrible because it wasn't, but he couldn't eclipse after that first drive. He just kind of, they knew how to play him. Everybody was looking for the same shots. We almost lost Kittle for the year. You
Right.
see that hit with
That
his foot
leg
still
was
on the
moving.
ground and
It was
bent around.
nasty.
Oh
It was
my God.
nasty.
I don't think I would have survived that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well,
So
luckily
there's,
we're neither of us are prime NFL $1 million athletes though. So thankfully he's
yes,
more flexible than probably both of us.
yes. I think he did yoga a lot. His sister helped him with that.
Right.
But when it comes down to it, like look what Trey did. Trey doubled the amount of points that Jimmy had in the first half after Seattle had made corrections.
Right.
And the one thing you can't do with Trey too much is make so many corrections because he can kill you in two different ways. You saw how he ran for the fourth down.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There's certain things you can't just, you know what I mean? He looks so much
You
like
can't
Steve
coach
Young to
that.
me.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
those first two drives, he obviously didn't look good and Twitter was bashing him. And then that third drive, he got under control. Now, obviously, there was, Seattle's defense was playing more in that cover zone, so he had more running room and, easier passes, but hey, that's when Jimmy looks good too. It's not like Jimmy looks good during the full play of the game. He's only looking good in the last 2 minutes of halves, really. So I know Ryan, you kind of left the door open. What do you need to see out of this team, and namely out of Kyle Shanahan, that you feel confident bringing him back next season as your coach?
Well, first thing, Jimmy can't get back out on the field.
Does
That's,
he? Do you keep him as a backup, or do you try to trade him?
I don't think you can trade him.
You don't think so? You
No.
don't think?
What
Okay.
what value? What value does he have? Who wants to be burdened with a quarterback who they're just going to stack the box on, and you're going to have to do these, 3 to 10 yard, maybe 15, every once in a while, maybe like a 20 something yard pass. But
Hmm.
I think he's only had like 3 of those so far this season that he's completed. What can you do? You need a superior run game. You know what? You could trade him to Tennessee.
Miami, Tennessee.
No, Tennessee. Miami doesn't want him. They're about to leverage their future for Watson. You know what I mean? You could trade him to Tennessee. I've
You
always
think
said
he's
we
an upgrade over Tannehill?
no, but but you could ask the same of him as you asked from Tannehill. I
Right.
think Tannehill's better, but like I think we could have won the Super Bowl with Tannehill. He's a little more dependable with things. It seems like and the guy keeps improving, little by little, but he keeps improving. And you got a great run game over there. So I don't see.
Harold
Uh,
saying trade Kyle.
See, this is the thing. If we trade Kyle, I think he pulls his head out of his butt and he actually realizes, oh, maybe I have to do some self evaluation. And then we just give up on that. And I hope something will ring true to him this year that makes him pull his head out of his butt this year. I His situational awareness of things is just really crap.
But
You
Ryan,
know?
let's talk. I think that is. I think it's like that. Have you ever heard of like the sunken cost theory, where we've been with this guy for 5 years? We've seen some flashes. We've fallen in love with him. He's helped turn around the culture. We've seen him take us to a Super Bowl. So we're like, let's just give him another chance. There's a guy in Buffalo right now named Brian Daboll that's making young quarterbacks look like phenoms, right? You see Mitch Trubisky with 4 years in Chicago with Matt Nagy, and then in just a little bit of time with Brian Daboll on the Buffalo Bills, he looks like a completely different quarterback. He will not be available in a couple of years, right? I think either Chicago gets him because of Justin Fields, or the 49ers hopefully can be in the running for that. And then Daboll could kind of choose which situation he wants to be in. I would be ecstatic if we could have a coach like Brian Daboll come in, help develop a young Trey Lance, because we haven't seen Kyle hasn't developed a quarterback in the 5 years that he's been here. What makes us think that we give him another year and that's going to change things?
That is a great point. But also at the same time, I don't think Jed has the spine to do that.
So we need to do it, Crypto. We need to do it, Ryan. We as the faithful need to start making that seat so hot that Shanahan wants to go, and let Daboll come in before somebody else snaps him up, and then then we have to settle for maybe something a little bit less, right? Because I think Daboll and Trey Lance, young quarterback, that's a match made in heaven right now. So that's what I'm looking towards. But I want to give you the last word, Ryan.
So just think, if Kyle was a better coach and made better decisions and was an actual leader and did his job to do his job the right way, we could have seen this second half of this game, the first half of the Detroit game. And where would Lance have been by this point so far in the season? You know what I mean? We might not have lost the Green Bay game.
Mm-hmm.
We might not have lost this game.
Right.
I'm not saying it's a for sure, but when you're playing 11 on 11, buddy, certain things get stretched a little thin and plays get broke open. And we saw that in the second half. The defense couldn't adjust at times for what was going on. They didn't even know what was going on at times. Right. I even watched the cameraman and myself didn't even know what was going on one time when he threw that bomb. They thought he handed it off. I thought he handed it off, and all of a sudden he pops up, cocks his arm up, and I was like, oh, he still got it.
Yep.
Like, I don't know.
It's frustrating, man. I mean, you look at this, the defense played so lights out in the first half. For most of the first half, they only let 7 points to a really good offense with Russ at the helm. And I tweeted it. I said, look, if Seattle wins this game, everybody's gonna blame the defense, and they're gonna forget about how lights out they played for so long. If they could have put up even 13 points in the first half, right? Just a field goal and a touchdown, or 2 touchdowns, 14-0 going into the half. It's a completely different game, right? But
I think Trey could have scored more points in the first half than Jimmy did.
Absolutely. But here's the silver lining. This is the only way under Kyle Shanahan's type of mentality and stubbornness that Trey gets a chance to start. This was the only way. It was, he's not going to pull Jimmy out because of bad play, because too many people on the team like them. Too many fans are like, Jimmy wins, all this kind of stuff. This needs to be it. We saw Trey go out, throw 2 touchdowns, move the ball with his legs. Now there's a reason for him to start, and maybe the season can be salvaged, and he's going to go tough game against Arizona, but then going into the bye week, if we could somehow beat Arizona or at least compete there into the bye week, now we're talking about the second half of the season. We're still playing the easiest schedule of any team in the NFC West. So who knows, man? There's still a chance if we keep Trey. And worst case scenario, he has all of the experience he needs to go into next season. All systems go, right?
Right.
I like it. Hey, you have the best sunglass game in for the faithful, my man. I appreciate you joining the show. Please keep tapping in, man. Have a great night. We'll talk again soon, okay?
You too, sir.
I appreciate you, man.